Hey, fans of freedom and open discussion, I'm heading over to Substack, and there's an ad-free audio and video version of The Adam Carolla Show that's going to be waiting there. In the near future, you'll even be able to watch ACS Live, unedited, as we record it, participate in the show via live chat. That'll be coming up very soon. You'll also get an ad-free version of the Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew Show. You'll also get an exclusive to my new podcast, Beat It Out, where I share unpolished ideas with my comedian buddies. The first series of episodes is going to be Jay Moore. You'll get all this and more for the low, low price of $9 a month, a pittance for all we're going to bring you. Subscribe now at adamcarolla.com/Substack, and I'll see all of you in our new speakeasy called Substack.
I'm Alice.
And I'm Brett.
And this is the Prosecutor's Legal Briefs. Welcome back to the Prosecutor's Legal Briefs. I'm your host, Alice, and I'm joined, as always, by my reviewable co-host, Brett.
Hello, everyone. So good to be with you here on this end of the year episode.
End of the year! First of all, how is it possible that we have had so many ends of year with our podcasts? And
crazy.
that this is only the first time we're doing an end of year review for Poor Legal Briefs.
Poor Legal Briefs. It's a forgotten podcast. I've hardly even mentioned it when we talk about it. But
I do too. I forget. It's not that I forget it because we record it every week, but I really do think this is, if people discovered it, they'd be like, what? There is a place where all the things we ask Alice and Brett to talk about, they do. And in detail. And I do think we have the best guests on this show.
We
too.
do. We do. But,
like Ivan Bates.
It's not... it's funny because we talk about true crime all the time on here, but it's just different. It's just different from the prosecutors. It's just different. I love all my children equally, so I love legal briefs as much as the prosecutors, but, I know we're preaching to the choir because people are listening. You guys are the true legal scholars, the intellectuals, the elite, one might say, of prosecutors' listeners. Well, I have the stats, Alice.
I want to know the
ready
stats because
to go.
I don't know. I really don't know the stats of
Do you want to do
Legal Briefs.
stats first, or do you want to do favorite episodes first?
Favorite episode's so hard on this podcast because, like you said, there's so many. Like, it's almost like you have to say, what's your favorite trial? What's your favorite SCOTUS case? What's your favorite, legal rule?
Well, we'll do the stats, and then we won't call them our favorite episodes of the year, but we'll do We'll
do a year in review, can you believe Nancy Grace came on the show twice?
I know. We were talking about this. The prosecutors, especially this year, because 25 weeks of the prosecutors were taken up by West Memphis 3. But because we have so many multi-episode cases, there's only 52 weeks in the year as it is. So we probably only do 15 cases, maybe a year. But on Legal Briefs, every now and then we do 2 episodes on topic. But usually it's a new topic every week. So it's hard. It's hard to pick.
I think it really is every week. And the reason we do that is because we go as long as it takes to finish that episode, except for the only thing that's coming to mind is birthright citizenship, because there was so much info. But otherwise we talk for 2 hours and that's one legal brief.
Sometimes we split up the Supreme Court. There was one we did 2 episodes on, but we just played them back to back. I don't remember, but very few. So anyways,
the point being, you really get your bang for your buck with legal briefs.
The brief podcast. When I sold this to Alice, I was like, we should do a podcast. It's just about legal issues. It's fine.
No.
It'll be short.
He pulled out the rug from under me. It was a bait and switch. He's like, it's barely a podcast. We are basically going to talk for 20 minutes, which is how much we banter anyway. So it's going to add no extra time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, bam, 2-hour-long episodes every week on a new case and on a new topic every week.
I know. Legal Briefs is hard. It's hard.
It is kind of hard.
It's become because. So they just did the Humphreys Executor argument. And I'm like, man, I got to listen to this argument. So
I know. And these arguments now are like 2 to 3 hours long.
I know, they're so long.
Because I listened to the case before Humphreys Executor, and that was a 2-hour-long argument too. It's
crazy.
And I was like, I'm tired. I can't listen to another 2 hours today.
I don't know how these Supreme Court justices do it.
They love it,
Good Lord.
Anyways. They love it.
Okay. That's enough. That's enough of that. Okay,
I think that shows you how brief Legal Briefs is.
Exactly. We can't even get to stats on the. Okay. Let's start with countries. This is pretty easy because it's the same countries as the prosecutors. Yeah. So United States is number one. What's number two?
I would actually be surprised if we have that many listeners outside of the United States. That's just me. Okay.
Okay. So it is much more heavily weighted to the United States than the prosecutors is. I would give you that.
So I would think that most people find us because of our main podcast, The Prosecutor. When I say main, the one that's the older brother, sister, been around longer, even though they really are like totally divergent now. They've gone their own different ways.
They really have. Yeah.
But I would say the UK is number 2 because they are the number 2 for prosecutors.
The UK is number 2.
Way to go, UK.
UK is number 2. Followed
Australia.
by
Canada. Because our legal systems are somewhat close-ish.
I guess.
They're really not similar, but we are at least bordering.
It is,
Canada.
It is funny how different they are. I mean, but once again, the United States is weird. Then Australia. And then...
Not Mexico, despite them being
Mexico's...
close. Despite them being close to us. Another English-speaking country. Mm-hmm. Because I was going to say, Legal Briefs is pretty... It's kind of academic. Those who listen who are not English speakers, I'm very impressed. Okay. Is it going to be like Ireland or Scotland or something?
It's Ireland.
Boom.
It's Ireland.
Way to go, the Irish.
Okay. So, we only had one country with one listener on the prosecutor.
Oh, so that sounds so lonely.
We have several countries where there is one person in the country who listens to Legal Brief. So I'm going to...
Should we send them something?
Give a shout out. Well, we'd have to, because there's several here. Okay, so we have one in Azerbaijan.
Thank you, Azerbaijan.
One in St. Bartholomew, which I assume is an island.
That is awesome. I don't know how they found us.
In Gabon.
Man, who are these people? I want to hug them.
One in Greenland.
That makes me sad, Greenland. You should have more people.
Seriously, Greenland. You're right next to Canada. Come on. One, a very small population. One in Haiti, which...
I'm impressed.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to survive in Haiti, much less find time to listen to the prosecutors. One in Laos, one Laotian person who's listening.
My favorite restaurant in D.C. is a Laotian restaurant.
There you go.
And I ate there right before I had my oldest.
Well, if you're the one listener in Laos, shoot us an email. Maybe you can exchange recipes with us.
I would love your recipes.
One person in Liberia, which is kind of disappointing because Liberia is sort of an American-ish country in Africa, but whatever. That's fine. One in the Republic of Moldova.
Wow.
Pretty cool, Moldova.
How did these people find us?
One in Madagascar. I always forget people live in Madagascar because I always think of Madagascar as like the movie with all the animals and stuff, but that's cool. One in Nicaragua. One in Paraguay. One in Swaziland.
Wow.
One in Togo. And one in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So there you go.
What if we had a get-together that was we'll call them flyers. Everyone who is one in their countries, they're all over the world.
I was about to say, where would we have this get together?
in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and we'll look for Amelia Earhart.
Yes, we're meeting up in Easter Island. Be there, be square. Yeah, so there you go.
That is awesome. Well, thank you guys, especially the population of one in your country, because you are so alone there and you listen to us. And if you write to us, we will send you something because
we got 5 listeners in the Cook Islands.
Wow. I wonder if they're all on the same island.
Yeah, maybe they are. I don't know. That's pretty cool. Okay, so cities. Okay, now cities is a little different from... Well, before we do cities, let's do states. Do you want to do states?
Yeah, let's do states.
Let's do states. All right, Texas is number 1. You're right. I mean, that's the easy one. Easy peasy.
Okay, way to go, Texas. Always the best.
Okay. What do you think's number 2?
I'm going to say somewhere in the South.
No.
Okay.
Not in the South. Which,
Illinois.
like I said, it's a little different. This Legal Breeze listenership is different from the prosecutors, even though the countries are the same. Once you start breaking it down,
I'm going to go with Massachusetts because of Karen Reed.
No.
Is it Northeast or Northwest?
It is neither.
Oh, middle of the country?
No.
What else? What? Now I'm very good. Okay, Arizona.
No.
The Midwest, Nebraska.
California is number 2.
I totally missed that.
All right. The next 2 are in the South. I'll give you that hint.
Okay, Florida.
Yep, that's number 3.
Alabama?
Nope.
Nobody likes us where we live.
I
know. North Carolina.
North Carolina has always been a strong state for us.
North Carolina is very kind. They've always been kind to us.
I didn't even see Alabama on this list.
I'm saying people don't really like us.
There's only 50 states. Where are you? Oh, there it is. Alabama is in between Maryland and Utah. So,
man.
Okay. And then the last state, I'll just go ahead and give it to you because you'll never get it.
I will never get it. The last one, you mean the least amount of listeners?
No, number 5. Number 5. Ohio.
Oh, the Midwest, man. They're always
And then
friendly.
to round out the top 10, it's New York, Illinois, Georgia, Indiana, Virginia.
Those are great states. Thank you guys for listening all over.
All right, now let's do cities. And I'm going to call it a shocker in number 1 for the city. But I think if you think about it, it's not as surprising as you might think.
I have no idea. Okay, I would guess it's in Texas or California.
It is in none of those places.
Wow, okay. Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
Because I was going to guess they were a state.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be in the state, but maybe they're a city.
I think it's because of, like, what we cover.
SCOTUS.
Like, I think that's why Washington, D.C. is number 1. Anyways.
Well, my guess was also it doesn't factor in the top 5 states, so it might, like, pull. Does it make sense? Because it's like, they may not count it as a state, so it actually may overtake another one of the top 5.
Shopify is a platform built for growth, whether you're just starting out or already running a thriving business. From managing inventory to creating a seamless checkout experience, Shopify is designed to handle it all. And it doesn't stop there. Shopify helps you sell everywhere your customers are, online or in person. It's the ultimate tool for turning big dreams into big wins. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/OPP.
Do you want to keep going?
Okay. Now I'm going to say Houston.
Houston is number 5.
Dallas.
Dallas is number 2.
Okay, Dallas, they like us better than Houston. Okay, has to be a California. Los Angeles.
No, Los Angeles is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is 8. Is number 8.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
San Francisco.
Nope.
San Diego.
Nope.
Is there no California city in there?
Not in the top 5.
That's so interesting because you said that they were one of the top states. Okay, Chicago.
Chicago, yes. And then you got one more.
Atlanta.
No.
I have no idea.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
North Carolina. There you go
North
again.
Carolina. Okay, let's go to demographics as far as who listens. Okay, so what do you think? Okay, you remember, I don't know if you remember the prosecutors.
It was like 75
breakdown.
or 80%.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
Women.
Female to male.
Yeah.
What do you think it is for Legal Briefs?
I'm going to say it's more even. Not totally, but I'm going to go with like 75-25. Female, male.
I don't know what this says.
Oh, no. Is it all women who listen to us?
About, our listenership and about Legal Briefs. 52% male.
Really?
Yep.
Wait, that's shocking to me.
52% male for Legal Briefs.
That has to be a record for any true crime or true crime adjacent.
I was
podcast.
shocked. I was really surprised.
We should tell people that, because I think all the men who listen to true crime are listening to us then.
I mean,
I'm actually serious.
I just think a lot of people don't consider Legal Briefs to be true crime.
Which is our whole point.
And
is
I
that
know
true crime,
people who listen to Legal Briefs who do not listen to the prosecutors.
You're right. I do too. Who are
men,
more in the
as a matter
legal
of fact.
world. Yes.
So
Man, so it's more men than women.
more men than women to the
Whoa.
prosecutors, or to the Legal Briefs.
That is insane.
Which is crazy because, like you said, it's like 80% women on the
Wow.
prosecutors.
So that means there is, or unless, I was going to say there's not like there could still be significant overlap, because if we have a lot fewer listeners on this podcast, then all 20% of the men who listen to prosecutors listened here, and that may be the 52%.
I mean, that could very well be it. I mean, obviously, the prosecutors is much bigger than Legal Briefs.
Right.
It's like 5 times as big as Legal Briefs, right? So the overlap,
That is crazy.
yeah, it's wild. I was shocked as well. So I don't know what you guys think about that. But all right, so that's our demographics, all that good stuff. Alice, do you want to talk about some favorite episodes that you had this year?
Sure. I have to like pull up the list because we did so many.
There are so many. I mean,
I'm still not finished scrolling. I'm only in February.
Well, I'll
we
start.
did birthright
I'll start.
citizenship in February?
We did.
We were
did.
that ahead of the game?
Look, and so that's on my list, birthright citizenship.
That's insane.
Not only because it's really good legal analysis.
It is really
Like,
good legal analysis.
I mean-
and we're right.
It is an excellent legal analysis. And we were ahead of the game because we called it. It's now in the Supreme Court. They're going to decide it one way or the other. We were way ahead of that. That's the first thing. Number 2, so many people were mad that we even covered it.
They were.
They were just upset that we covered it. And I never
Without
understand
listening.
that.
I mean,
Yeah,
yes, I agree with you, but that's kind of just like when we would cover many Supreme Court cases, have Trump in the name because he's in the executive
the
branch.
president, yeah.
And so just about every case that brought by the executive is going to probably have Trump's name in it. So anytime we covered one of those cases, people would get mad too and be like, look how political. It's like the case at the Supreme Court right now.
Yeah, and it's in the Supreme Court. It's a really interesting legal question. And the thing I always tell people, I mean, number one, you would think if you're anti-Trump and anti the executive order, you'd have liked the fact that at the end of the day, we said you couldn't do it. I would have thought, spoiler alert, I would have thought that would have been, but maybe they didn't get that far. Right. That's the first thing. The second thing, the thing that people need to understand is if you care about these issues and you want to be able to debate these issues, you need to understand the arguments.
Totally.
Because when we covered it, you had a bunch of people out there who were saying, oh, no big deal. That'll never go anywhere. It'll never go to the Supreme Court. It's like, and we're like, no, that's number 1, not true. Number 2, here's the history. Number 3, here are the arguments. And now once the Supreme Court took this case on X, people have been debating this, and the arguments people are making are exactly the arguments that we pointed out. And if you know what the arguments are going to be, both for your position and against your position, guess what? You are much better equipped to handle that, to take on those positions. And I think so many people, they just can't even think about topics that either make them angry or they disagree with. And honestly, it makes you much weaker when it comes to debating this stuff and convincing people and having things come out the way you want them to.
And to put it into perspective, what all lawyers do, like a lawyer's job is to learn the other side of the argument that they are arguing to then be able to better argue it. Like, that's why there are briefs in opposition, right? No one just presents, we don't file briefs at the same time. Both sides just don't say, okay, here's my best foot forward. The reason you have one side file a brief that asks for some movement from the court, the other side then responds to it. The whole point is you attack it, and then there's a reply brief. If that weren't the adversarial system, everyone would just put their best foot forward and just say, who cares what the other side says because this is the winning argument. And then the thing every attorney does before you have any oral argument is you do something called a moot. A moot is where you sit down with your colleagues who probably side with you because they probably helped you research, they probably helped you brief the case, they may have tried the case with you. And their job is to throw the most difficult questions against you where you have to answer it. And usually if your colleagues are successful, your moot, where you've been attacked with like the most intense and difficult questions against your position, and you use that as practice. If they're good at it, those will be harder questions than you face in court. But that is the adversarial and the legal system. So it's not just us trying to like get clicks or, get people riled up. Knowing your arguments is the very basis of being a good lawyer. So that's why it's kind of shocking. I always forget that the rest of the world doesn't think that way. And then so when they're like, why would you even learn the other side? Why would you even deign to understand? I was like, huh? But that's literally the profession.
Yeah, and it's always like, every time we do one of those, we always get an email from somebody who's like, I was so disappointed that at the end, you didn't take X position that I believe deeply and explain why that's the correct moral position. And it's like, find another podcast. Like, we're never going to do that. That is not why we're here. We're not going to like champion whatever position you believe just to make you happy or to like whatever. We're not going to do that. We're here to talk about the law. I'm here to explain it. It is really easy for me to just talk about the law. It's just not hard. And I think about this sometimes too, because I just feel like most people just can't do that. They cannot just analyze a position and give you both sides. So, I don't know. I enjoy doing that.
Which is, I don't know if it is. It absolutely is. I think a generation or two generations ago, that wouldn't have been the case as much because there's no more like mainstream media as we used to know it. There's just your tailored algorithm on TikTok and Twitter and even your Facebook feed. So Instagram, whatever, every social media, even I'm pretty sure like when you open up your news app, whatever it is, they are reading your algorithm and they're going to feed you the articles that you want to see, right? Like I get a lot of puppy articles. I'm like, what? Because I click on them every time. So I keep getting fed puppy articles. But everything is algorithmed to what you want to click on because more clicks, more money. We know that. But as a result, we're actually not all reading the same news at all. And that I think is really dangerous, especially because you begin to live in an echo chamber when before, at least you were faced like on the nighttime news. If you watched the 30-minute newscast, you saw everything hour long, whether you liked it or not, you had to sit through everything. And then at least everyone had a basis of this is what's happening in the world. We no longer have that. And so I think it's incredibly important, even more so now than ever before, to truly understand different sides of an argument and then be able to articulate it without emotion and without ad hominem. Because that, if you go look at our 1-star reviews, I would say especially in legal briefs, I think this is a very interesting like psychological experiment. The 1-star reviews in legal briefs tend to be a lot more personal attacks than the prosecutor's podcast. The prosecutor's podcast, they definitely attack us. But there's also like, you're so stupid, you got the time wrong for track practice and Adnan.
You think Karen Reed's guilty.
Yeah, exactly. Karen Reed is guilty. You guys are so biased. Whereas legal briefs, it really is a lot more like, you suck as human beings. You're completely inconsistent in your views. You talk about this, but in your own life, you do this or this. And it's like, first of all, that's not true, but you'll notice that people attack us. And I think it's because we're talking about the law in a way that does not really try to sway you one way or the other, but just the fact of talking about birthright citizenship, just the fact of talking about one of the tariff cases going before the Supreme Court makes people's hair go on fire and they feel like they need to attack us and like cut us down because having that view out there at all is somehow dangerous.
Yeah, I think probably 90%, maybe higher, of our legal briefs, 1-star views are purely political. On the prosecutors, it's probably more like 60%, maybe less, because it is much more case-based. It's the Karen Reed people, Adnan Syed people, but on legal briefs, it's almost all just like...
I mean, it is because they attack us and our spouses on legal briefs.
Yeah,
like all of the, I'm like, man, you guys, like, you really care about us to really try and go find out my kids' names. By the way, that's why I don't say my kids' names on the podcast, because you crazy 1-star reviewers, you are out to get me, and I know it. And you write about my spouse, our spouses.
It's like that Taylor Swift song.
Why you think about me? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it's pretty romantic.
So romantic. All right. Okay, I've given one. Now you have to give one.
Okay, this is going to be... Okay, I loved the Ivan Bates interview. The first one and the second one. But the first one for several reasons. Number one, when we did Adnan Syed many years ago, at the time, we were like the lone voice in a sea of he's innocent. And we got a lot of hate for it, but we didn't care. Like, people threatened to sue us, whatever. People attacked us. They created entire podcasts just to, like, again, ad hominem attack us and talk about how stupid I am as a woman. That's fine. But it was so edifying 2 years later to talk to the person who actually knows all the facts, who went into the office to look at the facts anew and come out with such a position of integrity that you rarely see from anyone with a political position. And it was so awesome to get to hear from his perspective. But on top of that, it was really cool that he wanted to talk to us at all. And I thought he was just a very encouraging figure. Like, I was like, okay, there's hope for political DAs again. Like, there is hope for fighting crime with the rule of law and not just who your cronies are and who has the most clicks on YouTube.
So yeah, Ivan Bates was my top one. I'll pick another one since you stole it. For all those reasons. I mean, number one, I was really prepared to not like Ivan Bates because I just lost all faith. I just assumed everybody in Maryland was corrupt and in the bag for Adnan Syed. And it would have been so easy for him to do that. You know, I mean, it would have been so easy. Like, he'd been on record before saying he thought he was probably innocent. It's the popular position to take. You know, 80% of the people who responded to some stupid Baltimore News article said they thought he was innocent. Just the easiest thing in the world for him to do. And for him to take the opposite position, to reevaluate his own position based on the evidence, and just really a rare example of courage, real courage because oftentimes people are courageous, but they're still like, there's a prize at the end of the courage. You know what I mean? Like, they may be being courageous, but they know people are going to support them. They'll probably get some sort of boost to their popularity because of it, et cetera, et cetera. There is nothing like that here. Like, there was no gain to be had for him doing it. He did it just because it was the right thing. And because he looked at the evidence and was like, oh, shoot, jury got this one right. Guy's totally guilty, right? And, you know, it's so easy to talk about standing up for victims and caring about victims and prosecuting abusive men and controlling boyfriends and, like, you know, picking the bear over the man. It's so easy to do that, right? So easy to say that. But this was an example of someone actually with no possible gain to be seen doing the right thing. It was so refreshing. And he's such a cool guy, too.
I think a lot of people decided to go to law school after his interview. And then, like, just as a follow-on, this is, you know, I'm not going to pick this as another one, but the fact that he wasn't just doing it as, like, a press release sort of thing. He reached back out when he'd worked really hard to bring crime down, and the stats reflected what he'd done. And he was like, hey, can I talk about this? Because I'm really jazzed about the fact that we were able to bring crime down. I'm like, yes. So you could tell he actually cared about what he did. It wasn't just for, you know, the spotlight.
And then he hooked us up with Allison Healy, too. It was great. So this one's going to be a bit of a surprise, probably, but I just really enjoyed this. Our interview with Jason Flom, which was... You know, I mean...
Can I say that says so much about what we just said? The whole purpose
That's true.
Is to talk to people emotionless or without emotion on which you disagree.
Look, I enjoy talking to people I disagree with. Like, I thought that was a really good episode. And in a year when we talked to Ivan Bates and we continue doing our thing of telling you guilty people are guilty. And... Jason obviously is a big innocence guy, you know, really big in that movement. I like him a lot personally. You know, we talked a lot afterwards. He's sent me a bunch of cases he wants us to look at, and we're going to look into them. But I do think, You know, people always say we think everybody's guilty. I don't think that's true. We do tend to think more people are guilty than otherwise. I think that's because that's the way the evidence comes out. Maybe it's because we're prosecutors. I don't know. He tends to see most people to be innocent for reasons that I don't always agree with. But it was great to have him on talking about his perspective, what he does, how he came to be where he was, because we don't want to be an echo chamber. We want this to be a place where people can have this kind of conversation. So I thought it was fun. And, you know, he reached out to us and he came on, despite the fact I'm sure there are people that he socializes with and are friends with who were not happy with that, that he did that. And I thought that speaks to him and his character. And I enjoyed it quite a bit and would be happy to have him on in the future. And like I said, we got a list of cases that he wants us to take a look at, and we're going to.
Yeah, I love those kinds of friendships in this podcast world. And also, total kudos to him for coming on. I think he asked to come on rather than us being like, please, you know, which says a lot to him because I bet he got some flack for it. So thanks, Jason Flom. Okay, I don't know if I like it or I'm glad we have an avenue to cover it because I can't believe it's a case we have to keep covering. And that's the Ellen Greenberg case.
You keep stealing mine.
I'm sorry. So it's not that it makes me happy to have to cover it, but I'm really glad because we probably wouldn't we did Ellen Greenberg on the prosecutors. We probably wouldn't keep doing follow-on episodes because it's just updates rather than like a case development. And the reason there are no actual case developments is because the one thing they should do is have an independent investigation that keeps not happening. But this was exactly what I think we envision legal briefs to be able to do those quick updates as they're happening and to tell people what is happening without the kind of veneer of clickbait, to give people the real facts. And sometimes if the facts are that there's no development, to tell them that as well. So I'm glad we have this platform to be able to react in real time to what's happening to Ellen Greenberg. And the reason I'm upset, of course, is that I can't believe nobody listens to us apparently, because we've been very clear since we covered her case like years ago that there needs to be an independent investigation or at least a new investigation into this without all of the kind of smoke and mirrors that appear to have happened. And nobody listens to us, but we can continue to kind of trumpet for justice.
No, look, that's the case we're going to talk about until, I would like to say until it's solved, but it probably won't be solved, unfortunately. It's the case we're going to keep talking about until we can't talk about it anymore. I mean, I continue to be astounded at the inability to get just an independent investigation. I can't believe it. I really can't. And I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but it just feels like such an obvious thing to do. And for the benefit of everyone involved.
Including, politics.
Yeah.
I feel like it's even politically advantageous to do it, and still they don't do it.
Look, I'm sorry. If you had some coroner from Seattle, who everyone respects, come in, review the evidence, maybe take a look at some slides under a microscope, do some actual hands-on investigation and come to a conclusion, would it convince everybody? No. Do I think the vast majority of people would say, okay, we finally have an answer one way or the other? Yeah, I think you would. I think it would be good for the politicians. I think it would be good for Sam. If he's innocent, he needs to be cleared. If he's guilty, he needs to be in prison, right? I mean, either way, limbo is the worst possible place for him to be. And I don't get it. I just do not understand. I resist conspiracy always because there just aren't that many real conspiracies, especially big ones, complex ones that aren't uncovered. But it is hard to adhere to the maxim of never confuse incompetence with malice. But man, it is so incredibly incompetent not to have some sort of independent review. And they just keep stepping on rakes. The last report they released was just another rake to the face. And you would think at some point they'd be like, you know what, we're tired of stepping on rakes. Let's not do rakes anymore. Let's have somebody else look at it. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Well, along these same lines, I will say, since Alice keeps stealing my answers, but there's so many good ones, we did several interesting episodes on Aisha Degree this year, which is a similar case, a case that needs more reporting, needs more investigating, a really tough nut to crack, but one where there has been some movement. It was very interesting for us to talk to Skip Foster to sort of get the position. Those of you who don't remember, there's been some movement in the case, some search warrants executed on the Dedmon family, and the Dedmon family representative came on our show and sort of gave their position and their perspective. And I thought that was really interesting episode. Whatever you think of the Aisha Degree case and whatever you think of the Deadmans, it was fascinating to hear from their perspective. That is one we continue to hope will be solved. That's one, every time we do a documentary, and the documentarians are always like, oh, we're always looking for good cases. We always say, you need to look at Aisha Degree. Nobody's taken us up on it yet, but hopefully, I just feel like that case cries out for in-depth, on-the-ground investigation. It just cries out for it for so many reasons. And, you know, it just drives me crazy that we don't see more investigation of that. So I'll definitely say that one.
That was a really good one. And that one was, this is why I really love doing a podcast with you specifically, is because there's no one else. Because I just want you guys to know, Brett has definitely said, I don't know, if you die, I'm just going to get another podcast co-host. I'm like, geez, thank you. Check my insurance policy, guys. But on that one, I did feel very conflicted because I was like, I don't know. It's an ongoing investigation. Do we really want to be a voice? And like talking to Brett through it in terms of like, okay, it is an ongoing investigation, but usually these affidavits are not unsealed, and the government has chosen to unseal them, naming specific people who have a right to give their side of the story if the affidavit's already been unsealed before there's been any sort of charges brought. And so since they are going to speak anywhere, we don't have to necessarily endorse, but we get to ask the questions that we would normally be yelling at the TV if they were doing a press release. So that was a professional learning experience for me.
Somebody pointed out the sex trafficking episode you did, which was great.
Oh, that one was
wasn't
so
involved
sad.
in that one, but
You were having a baby, but
not personally, but yes.
That Danny Pinter is awesome. I hope if you guys haven't listened to that episode to go listen to it, but even more important than that, to go check out I'm going to get the National Sex, like Trafficking, Child Exploitation. It's like NCOSE. I'm going to say it wrong, but check them out because they're doing incredible work, like literally every day, representing victims of sex trafficking in court, not just advocating for them, which is a big deal. Advocacy is obviously very awesome, but oftentimes these people are not given their day in court because there's no one to take them. These are not money makers at all, and you're usually going up against very powerful people who can threaten you, threaten to do worse things to you and your family. So the work they do is incredibly important because it's in a lot of ways thankless, but also a huge hole. And obviously, when these traffickers and abusers are not brought to justice, guess what? They continue to do it. So thank you, Joe. National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Check them out. And I loved that Danny came on our show. She was in the middle of like crazy motion after motion in one of her cases, and she still came on the show, and she said it was because it was so important to get the message out to people. So what an incredible person and lawyer she is, but also the type of work they do.
All right, let's answer some questions to close out the year, if that works for you, Alice.
Love it.
All right. So Abby wants to know, do we think investigators should have a mandate to release the full case file after a specific amount of time on an unsolved case? Yeah, I kind of do, actually. I mean, it's a hard question because I obviously have a lot of respect for the idea that an ongoing law enforcement investigation should not be compromised because of the need for information. But I do feel like a certain amount of time passes at some point. And it could be a while. I mean, I'm fine with a pretty long horizon. But yeah, I mean, I think after a case has gone cold for 15, 20 years, there is, in my opinion, literally no downside to releasing the information and just hoping that somebody sees something in there that sparks a thought. I mean, I guess really the way it should be, it's like everything else in the law, there are always presumptions. And so there's a very heavy presumption against releasing information, law enforcement information, at the beginning of an investigation. After 10 years, you should have to give a really good reason to not release information.
I was going to say, maybe instead of having like a blanket rule across the board, because I can always think of some exception, and then it would be like, if I'm like on the verge of cracking a case and I'm just like watching that person trying to wait for genetic genealogy to like catch up with me, and I'm like 5 days away from the statutory deadline to unveil everything, I can imagine I'm like, no, this is going to ruin everything. But I am completely in favor of the burden shifting. And you have to, and anyone, I'd even say, could file something, and then the burden is on the investigating or government, whatever jurisdiction it is, to say why. And it could be, we're continuing to work on it, we have XYZ, or it could be something like you're allowed, and the judge may be able to see things in camera, kind of like you do when you have like privileged documents, and say everything's released except for these 2 things that could be your holdback evidence or something like that. But I think burden shifting would keep us from the kind of brick wall that a lot of people, especially family members, face when a case is cold for 30, 40 years and law enforcement keeps saying, it's an open investigation, we can't give you anything about your mother or your sister or loved one.
That was Abby, by the way. So this next one, Alice, you'll probably have 1,000 answers to this. LAH wants to know, must-have products for surviving baby's first year.
Oh my gosh. Write me. I will say, I actually have made entire spreadsheets for friends that I've passed along, very lawyerly, but it's like you can sort by like how important, what month, bath, sleep, all the things. Okay. I will give some not unconventional, but you'll hear all the same ones that you Google. But for me, the first year, I am not a swaddler. That's very controversial, but there is one, they're not a sponsor, but there is one baby blanket that I use for all my babies, and it's very expensive because it's made of all wool, but I think it helps regulate all of my kids, even like Brittany still wears it. It goes all the way up to like 3-4 years old. I always use Woolino baby blankets, and I think that makes a big difference because even though my kids don't like being swaddled, and a lot of people swear by swaddling, I feel if my kids are not too hot or too cold, they'll sleep better. And the only way I've been able to accomplish that is with a wool wearable blanket, because you're not supposed to give them like blankets. So I didn't find that until several months into my first baby, but since then I don't use any other baby blanket. Again, it's a wearable one, so it doesn't like go over their heads. There's one for you guys, but I do have a million other things. Here's the other thing. Don't buy all the things. You probably don't need all the things. Don't buy button onesies, like the button footies. Because if you have kids like mine, they will never stay still long enough for you to button them up.
Oh,
and then
God.
It's horrible.
Have you seen, and they're expensive, but
Magnets.
have you seen the magnet ones? Oh, God.
I have a bag of them for your baby, actually.
Oh, bring them.
I know. I literally have a bag of them.
They're awesome.
Baby Allison outgrew, and I'm like, you guys need to wear these now. So yes, magnet ones are also great. And then the other thing, I really love it. I have this slumber pod, the blackout tent. So I've used it for the last 2 kids, but they can sleep anywhere, including like whenever we travel. It creates a new room for them because it's completely blackout. So I even put like my toddlers in it. I just put, it's an open base, and I put like a toddler mattress there and just put the tent over them because it makes them feel cozy. So those are 2 things that I didn't see on any lists, and it's only through like 4 kids that I've decided, these are the things I need.
There you go. Probably didn't think you were going to get baby information on Legal Briefs. That's why it's the best podcast in the world. That 52% of men who listen will probably be like,
what the heck?
Glad I stayed till the end.
But you should, because I'm pretty sure Slumber Pod was a Shark Tank idea, and they made bank. So it was like a great idea, business idea, and they entrepreneured the crap out of that one.
By the time you hear this, it'll be after Christmas, but if you didn't get any good Christmas presents, some ideas.
They should make blackout tents for adults.
Oh, yeah.
My husband has asked for one. He's like, this is amazing. Can we get an adult-sized one?
If you use the low of the blanket correctly, it can be like a blackout tent. That's all I got, Alice.
That was a really good one. Well, this has been an amazing year. How many years are we going on now with Legal Briefs? 3 years? 2 years?
3.
3?
I mean,
because Brittany's 2.5. She's almost 3. So
because we started
halfway through the year, so I think it's 2.5. I really think it's the age of Brittany.
So Prosecutors has 339 episodes, which is hard to believe. And Legal Briefs has 191.
We have that many? Yeah. That's why I'm so tired.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
I'm proud of us. No, proud of you guys. And like we said, Legal Briefs is truly like we cover everything and anything that you want. So more so than prosecutors. We take your suggestions and they're on a list, but that list is so long because we can only get through so many episodes because we're long-winded. Legal briefs. You ask it, we will basically cover it the next week. So write us at prosecutorspod@gmail.com, and you can still follow us on all the social medias. And thank you guys for listening, and counter those 1-star reviews, ad hominem attacks, and give us some 5-star reviews. You can ask any question you want. Brett, Happy New Year. What a great year with you.
Happy New Year, Alice. Another awesome year. And there's no one I would rather be doing this with than you.
Well, guys, until next year, I'm Alice.
And I'm Brett.
And this is the Prosecutor's Legal Briefs.
So we were at the grocery store today. I had the kids at the grocery store. And I was like, which beer should I get? And of course, they picked the one with the dinosaur on it. But it's actually not bad. So it's from Opelika, Alabama, which is dangerously close to Auburn. But we'll take it anyway. So yeah, it's good. It's a red ale, I guess. 5%.
With all the best movies. The holidays are brutal, so if you're feeling frugal, stream Pluto TV. Stream Pluto TV. Stream Pluto TV for free. Stream blockbuster hits like 21 Jump Street, Ted, The Expendables, and so much more on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.